Naming ionic compounds. So in this following problem, it says name the following compound, MgCl and MgC4O6H4. So we have two ionic compounds to name because Mg and Cl are ions that attract to each other because of their electronegativities, and Mg and this polyatomic ion are attracted to each other based on the number of electrons they have, so this is also an ionic compound. Ionic compounds have a very specific way of naming each other so that we know that it's an ionic compound. So what we're going to do in this problem, we're going to try to figure out what the name is. So it says, let's take this first one, MgCl. So we have to find out when we have ionic compound, we're going to use the regular first name of the element, so regular name of the element. So this is going to be the first name, the cation, I'm going to say, is this first name. So the positive ion. So magnesium. So I'm just going to write magnesium. Easy enough. So magnesium is going to be the first name. I can look at the periodic table to find out the name. Then we take the second one, the anion, and what we're going to do for the anion, is we're going to take the first part of the name, and we're going to add the ending IDE to it. We're going to add the ending IDE to it. This signifies that they are combined, chemically combined, and they're not just elements floating around each other. So Cl is chlorine. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the first part of the name. So for chlorine, that is CHLOR. That's chlorine. But for oxygen, it would actually just be OX. So for chlorine, we have CHLOR. And we're going to remove INE. So that's the ending we're removing. And what are we going to add? This ending, the IDE ending. So it's going to end in IDE. So we're going to take that first part, CHLOR, and add IDE. So that is magnesium chloride, and that is the answer to the first part of this question. Magnesium chloride is the this compound's ionic compound name. Now, let's move on to this one, which has a polyatomic ion. So the rules are basically the same. We have the first name of the cation, so we just write magnesium. And sometimes the polyatomic ion will be the cation, so we would just write its name, like we're going to write for this one. So C4O6H8 is actually called tartrate. So we just have to write that name, which signifies the name of this. We don't have to write any extra ending because this already has a special name called tartrate. And so here, this is the name of the element, magnesium, of the compound, magnesium tartrate. So if, let's say, tartrate was a positive ion or a positive polyatomic ion, all I would have to say is tartrate and whatever anion that came after it. So here we would just make sure that we understand that remember, regular first name, so it always has to be magnesium or whatever cation regular name it is, and whether if it's polyatomic ion, the polyatomic ion name. And for the second element, if it's just an element, we take the first part of the name and we add IDE. And if it's a polyatomic ion, we just use the name of that polyatomic ion.